Hello, Roymanan here, and it's time to give my thoughts and review Metroid Prime 4. Now, it's been a while since I've reviewed any game online, but I kind of want to get back into that and do some games every now and then that I play throughout the year. And since this is my first review I've done in a while, I just want to do a quick calibration and give you some like background of how I would have rated some more recent games, so you have an idea of where I fall on, at least opinions on games that have come out lately. I've also made a post on this on the YouTube site page, but just bear with me for like 20 seconds as I quickly do this. Color Obscure, 10 out of 10. Digimon Time Stranger, 9 out of 10. Silent Hill F, 8 out of 10. Dynasty Warriors Origins, 8 out of 10. Mario Kart World Tour, 7 out of 10. Doom The Dark Ages, 7 out of 10. FBC Firebreak, 6 out of 10. Pokemon ZA, 6 out of 10. Avowed, 5 out of 10. Starfield, 4 out of 10. Dragon Age The Veilguard, 3 out of 10. Now, there's obviously more games I've played, but this is just once again, kind of give you a calibration in terms of where I'm at nowadays with reviewing games. So with that, let's get into the review. Metroid Prime 4 is the latest in the Metroid franchise and returns to the Prime subcategory of it. It has been 12 years since the third game, and to say this was not one of my most anticipated releases of the year would have been an understatement. The original Prime game was what got me into the franchise and is still one of my favorite games. Retro was back at the helm, and other than hearing that development had been scrapped and then restarted once, everything from the trailers they released and information seemed like a promising return. So I bought it day one and began my journey with Samus on her new adventure. In terms of first impressions, the game does an excellent job with the opening assault, and the gameplay feels familiar and scanning things is still felt enjoyable. Then you get to the first area on the main planet they're going to be, and everything looks great. Graphically, side note, visuals look great. I'm not going to talk about that a whole lot because it's not really my thing, but the game looks great. That's all I'm going to say. Then the part that from the trailers that I was dreading finally came, and that is meeting the companion character, or one of them, the companion characters in this game. This is where the downfall of this game truly starts. So let's start off with the good of this game. Like I said, gameplay wise, exploration, basic combat feel great. Lock on, all that stuff still works, feels fine. There's some cool bosses with some fun mechanics, new abilities that help getting around the map a little fun. I mean, all classic items for the most part. I don't remember there being any like new ones outside of maybe one or two. But anyway, everything still felt good and felt like good old Metroid. Everything that's classic Metroid formula, either from the 2D games or from the Prime games, works great. Biggest highlight of the game is when it's being those games. That's it, though. That's all I really have to say on the positives of this game because this game made me very, very angry. So, my first big complaint is with the characters. I'm fine with there being side characters and having to go talk to them in a game like this. That's fine. I mean, Metroid Prime 3 did it to some extent. Fusion had some conversations, and some of the other Metroids have. I mean, even I think Dread had cutscenes, and you would talk to certain things. That's fine. Don't mind that. That's fine. My biggest problem is whenever they can do that. Whenever I'm not at their where they're supposed to be. If they can, when they can call me up and tell me where to go and what to do, that's when I had a big issue with this game. Especially because this is a game about exploration. I'll talk about that in a second, but also just in terms of the characters, um, all the humor that they have does not land. Like I don't know why they're trying to be Marvel-esque writing in this. It doesn't work with the tone and kind of general atmosphere that Metroid's kind of built around. All the characters feel like forced stereotypes, have cringy dialogue. I didn't like any one of them outside of maybe the robot at the end, but that was it. Mackenzie and the girl soldier whose name I cannot remember even after being this game, not too long ago, um, were the biggest offenders. Everybody's also just hyper forgettable. Honestly, I can't remember any of their names outside of Mackenzie, and that's just because he was the first one and the one you interacted with the most. So, and once again, going back to the exploration, so one of the big things I had a problem with them was outside of the characters is every time I would get a new tool and go like, hey, I remember back in X area there was some door or something I couldn't do. I have a tool. Let's see, if that's the right way to go. Worst case scenario, I get a couple upgrades from going over there. But every time I would have to travel there, by the time I would get there, or about halfway through the hub world, getting there, lo and behold, Mackenzie's on the phone going, "Hey, you should go here with that item to go further into the game." That was probably the biggest annoyance and thing that made me the angriest. Because what this game is telling me is that you do not trust my intelligence or ability to remember things or look at the map for doors or areas that I have not explored and remember, hey, I needed this. I finally have this tool. Let's go check it out. You're not trusting me to do that. Secondly, you're also not trusting me that even if I am wrong, and that is not the area you want me to go to, I can still get an upgrade or something that's useful in that other area with that upgrade. You're not trusting the player to be okay with, guessing wrong, but getting something out of it at least. And then having to backtrack a little bit. Metroid's all about backtracking half the time. It's a downright insult to not only if you're a Metroid fan, but even if you're just a casual player, just not trusting the player to do anything right with the exploration, one of the core pillars of the Metroid franchise. Second biggest complaint is the desert hub and the bike. When they announced the motorcycle, I thought it was a cool idea. There's some things I thought they could do with the bike for exploration to kind of make it have a little bit more exploration stuff going with it. Too bad it's part of the game I hate the most. Bike combat is clunky and honestly does not feel good, which is why it barely happens in the massive desert area. It's very rare, it feels like. Shooting is very slow. It takes a while to get a boost charge unless you run into a plant, and even then, the boost slide that you get kind of pointless in combat. It's great for the green crystal stuff, but that's like just hitting all of it in one go. But other than that, kind of dumb. And it's just really just used to get from point A to point B in the desert area. Now, speaking of the desert area, whoever thought that having a massive desert with only a few things in it to find and have to be crossed every single time you wanted to backtrack or re-explore another area needs to not design Metroid games anymore. Not only does this area kill any momentum that you had from the previous biome, every time you have to go back to it, which is all the time. One of the things about Metroid and Metroidvanias in general that I really enjoy is the interconnectivity of the maps. Finding a shortcut or finding a route from one biome to another biome always felt cool and made it so that when you had to backtrack a little bit, you had some shortcuts you could take in order to get to those biomes. That's gone. All of it's gone. Instead, Prime 4 says, nope, here is a giant area, desert, so it's all brown, with nothing in it but green crystals and like maybe 6 kind of hidden areas, sort of mini areas, to get an upgrade. That's it. Go through it. It'll take you, about maybe 3 minutes per, depending on where you have to go in the desert to get to anywhere you want to go. But go through it every time. Uh, Long gone are the interconnective biomes and being able to go from like the volcano to the ice area with a cool elevator or cool little shortcut. None of that's connected. Makes the world feel a lot less joined and a lot more separate. Like these are just the levels versus this is the world that you're going to be exploring. It's a dumb decision and the game is worse for it. Last biggest complaint is the story. So it is boring, and honestly, for a game that has as many cutscenes as this has, and most of them were unskippable from my experience, the story is almost non-existent. So, basic gist: the planet you're on has a race of beings that have disappeared after some extinction level event. They left some keys that they say that you need to find in order to use the Grand Teleporter, so that the very few survivors, if there are any, can use it to get to another planet and save their species. That's the gist of the story. Now you have the Federation soldiers that got here, that got sucked in through the teleporter with Samus, so you have to, they're there. Uh, Also, Silex, the main villain, is here, but you always forget he exists because he really has nothing to do with the main game outside of the opening section and being the last boss for the game. So the teleporter that you're messing with on the Federation planet goes off, sucks up everything, buildings, vehicles, people, blah 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 blah. We all see these things in the desert, so we know that's there. Like the buildings, the mechs, the vehicles, all of that's in the desert and some of the other areas. So whatever this teleporter thing, it sucked in a lot of stuff. So explain to me how only 7 people ended up being affected. They were just in a massive battle with hundreds, maybe thousands of combatants, both on the Federation and Space Pirate side, and only 6 people are affected by this whole thing. I call BS. Also, slight spoilers, but this game honestly isn't worthy of your time, so I'm sorry. There are no Metroids in this game, outside of them being fused with the bosses somehow, which is some would explain that Silex figured out how to fuse Metroids, but once again, Silex is barely in the game, and he's not roaming the world. He's in a very specific location the entire game. So once again, tell me how massive teleporter, everything gets sucked in, 6 people and only affected, even though there's buildings and wreckage all over the place in the desert in certain areas. And the Metroids just somehow happen to fuse with only the apex monsters of the planet, and that's it? So only 4 Metroids, I think, total? Maybe 5? And it's not even, like I said, it's just, they're there. They don't even have game, like, they don't even affect the gameplay of, like, these monsters. They don't get, like, Metroid abilities. They're just fused with a Metroid that gave them more power. It's dumb. Silex is also wasted. I think he's only in this game because of the ending to Metroid Prime 3, where it was teased. But you could literally replace him with anything else, any other enemy, something generic, and nothing would be lost. Like I said, he's completely wasted. Shame that he had to be used for this game. But that's it for my story rant. It's really stupid, really dumb. I hate everything about it. And now for my many issues with the game. So locking on and targeting weak spots can be a pain in the ass. It's built for motion controls. I hate motion controls. If you're using them, they probably feel fine. But if someone who's using like the Pro controller or just the Joy-Cons attached to the controller, kind of annoying, did not feel good, made things a little more difficult. A few of the boss fights went on too long and were kind of boring. The boss of Volt's Forge comes to mind, as well as the ice area. I didn't care for those ones. Everything in the game, all the upgrades being called Psychic, insert name of upgrade, I thought was really stupid and dumb for naming conventions. Like, it's unnecessary. And just, like I said, it just felt kind of dumb. Scanning is an annoyance just because you couldn't tell what's actually important for the log and what's not. Unless it's a creature, like obviously the creatures you wanted to scan, but like on the computers and stuff. I believe in the older Prime games, like it would have like a red thing on the thing as well as being green to say, hey, this you haven't scanned this, but this is also important. Doesn't have that, so everything being green makes it really tough to tell what's important to scan and what's not. So you end up scanning everything just in case, and that became very, very tedious because there's a lot of stuff that you can scan. Not all of it interesting. So with all that said, let's score this thing. So is this the worst Metroid game? No, I still think that's Other M. That has way too many sins that even Metroid Prime 4 doesn't commit, mainly with the character of Samus. I think Samus in this game is fine. Other M butchers everything, including that. So Other M is still the worst of the worst. Is it the worst Prime game? Yes, by far, no doubt in my mind. This is a very, very bad Metroid Prime game. But the biggest thing for me is, as just a gamer, I mean, taking out my fact that I'm a fan of the series and all that, the biggest thing I don't like is the fact that after beating it and completing the game, I don't really want to go back and play this thing. I don't care about getting the 100% ending. I don't care about playing it on hard or any of that stuff. I really don't want to touch this game for a long, long time. So there's just way too many things in this game that irritated me, and the thought of having to go through that desert area and collecting more green crystals just kills any momentum or any desire to go back and replay this game. It's too much of a deterrence. I also just don't want to listen to the dialogue and characters in this game, and once again, be exploring and get a call on my phone, the thing every time. I don't want that. So as a Metroid game, it's awful. I will never recommend it. As just a game, it's mediocre at best. Like I still probably would not recommend it unless it's on a sale for if you just want a general first-person adventure kind of deal. But even then, it's a hard recommend. So with that, I'm giving Metroid Prime 4 a 4 out of 10. Do not recommend. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel. My wife and I are currently playing Fatal Frame 4 on our stream. Ruby Cat is streaming between Minecraft and Power World sessions, depending on what she feels like playing. Chainsaw Girl is debating on what she wants to do for her streams, but she should be back streaming hopefully soon. One of us is usually trying to stream every day outside of usually Sunday, unless Sunday or Saturday. Usually we take one of those days off. But we're still working the kinks on our schedule. But hopefully we stream a little more off, like get a more regular stream going. In terms of video reviews and stuff like this, my goal is maybe once a week, maybe once every other week. It just depends. Like I said, we're a family. I take care of my family first. That's what's important to me. This channel isn't going to take that over. This is my family wanted to do it, so I'm kind of humoring them a little bit to see how this goes. Um, but I'm hoping it continues because I do enjoy making these videos and doing these streams and reviews and stuff like that. So with that, thanks for watching again, and with that, take care.